Hey everyone, Simon here again for the founder, producer, and sole editor at Digital Tune Design. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a tutorial, doing a bit of motion graphics in After Effects and Cinema 4D. So we'll create a bit of an animation in Cinema 4D with a bit of text and a bit of lighting, walk you through some render setups and material setups, and then we'll go into After Effects and we'll do a bit of post on it. So if you've seen the other video, the 10-second clip, it's got sound in it. I'm not going to bother about the sound, but yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm gonna open Cinema 4D. I've got R14 here, so it's nothing special in R14. That's just the one I've got. So if you've got a lower number, older version, it should be fine. Alright, here we are in Cinema 4D. Now you notice I'm doing a bit of navigating here without moving my mouse or clicking. I've got a bit of a 3D mouse, which is brand new, so I'm just getting used to that. But yeah, to navigate, in case you didn't know, you hold one, click and drag, pans it around like that. Hold 2, click and drag, zooms in and out, and hold 3 and click, and you can rotate around. So that's how you do that. Rightio, let's get right into it. So we'll go up here to the the special objects up here, and we'll put in a floor. And okay, so what happens is when we render that, it takes up the entire thing as far as the horizon goes. So you hit Control R to render the viewport. Look at that, there's the floor, it's covered all the way out to the horizon there, and if you change the view, there we are, there it is. Okay. Alrighty. Next thing is a bit of MoText, so go up to MoGraph and click MoText. Now the two fonts I've got on the original version, I'm going to leave the links in the description. Actually, I've only got a link for one, the other one's Helvetica, so if you haven't got the Helvetica font family, then then you just have to find another one, something simple like Typograph Pro or Calibri, anything. There's one called Sensation, which is spelled like so, and that's pretty cool as well. So I'm just gonna change this font to a really bit of a grungy font. It's got looks like it's got cracks in it. The font's actually called Electrical, and just wait for this to come up. Cinema 4D seems to take a while to find the font. So Electrical, nope, didn't come up. Click again, but it should be all good now. Scroll up. No, Electrical's a free font, but yeah, as you can see, just a sec. So I'm going to type Carbon, all in capitals. Now, if you're an Australian, you probably find a bit of a funny reference to this. I'm actually had a bit of political stuff about carbon tax and all that sort of thing, global warming, woohoo! So that's why I chose this. Actually did it at the start of last year. As you've probably seen on my channel, there's a version 1, which is getting quite old now, so I just thought I'd do another one. Alrighty, there's that, carbon. Wow, look at that. Now, I'm going to do the cap, so you click on it in the object, in there, click on caps, and zoom in, and you can see how all these lines here are dead flat, and when you render that, Control R, that's not very nice. So if you go to the start caps, change it to a fillet cap, then you can change these values here to 4 steps, which makes it a bit more round, and 3 centimeters, and it just gives it a little bit of a smoother feel to it, as you can see there. Also makes it look a bit less fresh, if you know what I mean. Alrighty, we'll duplicate that one, so Control C, Control V, and that'll duplicate it, and we'll change the caps to 8 steps and 7 centimeters, and Then we'll move it down, grab the move tool, zoom out a bit, there we are, grab this axis, move it down, and you can see it's like an outline. So that'll be our glow. If you've watched the other one, there's a glow, a glow layer around the outside there, which will be bright green, and the rest will be like a grungy sort of a material to accentuate the cracks. Alright, now we'll create a third MoText, go MoGraph, MoText, get the rotate tool, hold shift. I didn't tell you this before, but if you hold shift, clicks it in lots of 10, so you can get it perfectly on 90 degrees. Use the move tool and move that out of the way so we can read what it says. Bring that up on top of the floor. As you can see, it's going through the floor there, so bring that up just so it's sitting on the floor. Same with these ones, control click, bring them up so they're just sitting on the floor, because otherwise you lose it all. You've got to give it a bit of depth. So put that one down a bit, just because the green glow layer on there, we don't want it to be huge, we just want it to be a subtle sort of thing. Anyway, back to this MoText here. There we are. There. No, it won't click on it. There we are. Alright. I'm going to change the text to life. The element of life. Well, it's true. I figured it out in chemistry last year. I was like, oh, they're making a carbon tax and organic chemistry. If anyone's done organic chemistry, you'll know that life is made up of carbons, hydrocarbons, and I just thought that was pretty cool. Alright, Helvetica, new LT, where is it? LT Com 107, it's called LT Com 107. There it is. That's the one. Alright. Check this out. Now, if you want to change the size of your MoText, I'm just going to make these ones bigger. So I got object. This is the depth that controls how do. So if you click on this one, you can control how big it is. Oh no, that's not working. Right. There we are. No, we want this one. Right. If we move that out, and if you have a look at this, hey, it's rotated a fair bit, isn't it? Whoa, dude. Okay, sorry about that. Now, if you increase this depth, that increases the height of it. Depends how high you want it. I only want it on the standard, so I'm just going to go Control Z to undo, put it back exactly where it was, and I wanted to increase the size, didn't I? It's down here at height, see that? So I'm going to grab that one, I'm going to increase the height to 400. That'll make it bigger, and I'll do the same for the outline, 400 centimeters. Alright, yours might be in meters, it doesn't matter. I've just got mine set at centimeters, so there we are. That's heaps bigger. Cool. Now, move this element of life one down a bit. I might increase the height of that one as well, just so we haven't got anything looking too small there. Alright, that looks pretty good, I think. Nice. Now, I'm going to grab all them, shift and click on them to move them into the center of the floor there. And then hit render, Control R. Look at that, we've got a nice outline there. And the text. Right, now, moving on, we're going to create a few lights. We're going to create 3 lights. I'm just going to go Control C, Control V, Control V. And look, now we've got 3 down there. I'm going to change 2 of them down in the properties here. I'm going to change the intensity to 13%. And I'm going to leave the other one 100%. So the 2 with 13%, I'm going to move up as ambient light. So you're going to bring it above the floor a bit. so it's, so you can see the light there. Put it out there maybe, and this one up a bit higher. Move that one out to there, and the light with 100%. Oh wow, that's bright. Move that right down there. Hit render. Alright, so we got no shadows, so click on the light, change it to soft shadows, and another one, soft shadows, and the last one, shadow, soft shadows. Now hit render again. What a difference, eh? What a difference. So what I'm actually going to do is move this light out more, and that one as well, and move that out. Zoom back in. Sorry if you can hear the chickens in the background there making a bit of noise. Right, now it doesn't look like it's quite sitting on the floor, this text, so I'm just going to move it all down. It's sitting on the floor, alright. It's weird. Alright, leave it there and grab this one, change that around a bit. Oh, that one wasn't on the floor. Oh, maybe it was. Okay, leave that how it is. Hit render again, just to test what's happening. Okay, doesn't look too bad. We'll grab this light here, zoom out, move it out. I'm also going to move it up a bit so there's more light coming down on it. And go like that. Right, how's that look? There we are. Not too shabby, not too shabby at all. Now I'm going to just decrease the intensity on that light, the main light, light 1. Maybe a bit more. Render again. Little bit more. Alright, now, so we got the lights. Now we've got to change some render settings. So before we work with materials, it's a really good idea to get your render settings set up so you know that when you render your materials, they're going to be looking all smooth and everything. So when you go into here, we're going to change the output to what we want the final frame size to be. So I'm going to have mine at half HD. I'm going to have 1280 by 720. Lock that ratio. Don't worry about the save yet. Don't worry about multipass. So just got your mouse here, right click, click Ambient Occlusion, and right click and click Global Illumination. And also we're going to change the renderer here to the physical renderer. And alrighty, let's go in and check those settings. So click on the physical renderer, and we're going to go click on depth of field and motion blur. And in ambient occlusion, we want it to be a sort of a dark theme, this carbon sliding in, if you've seen the other video. So we're going to drag that down a bit. Ambient occlusion is like a self-shadowing. So when you're looking at something that has like a crease or something in it, and the crease looks darker because of natural ambient occlusion, it creates its own shadows, and yeah, instead of from the lights, the thing itself is creating shadows on itself by stopping the light from getting to it. So that's what ambient occlusion does. If you turn it off, it's a noticeable difference. Click on Global Illumination, and we'll go to the sampling size just for the render practices. We'll change all these things to low, change this to weak, and that should do it. So if you change the if you render it out now, it should look almost identical. There will be little subtle differences, a bit more grainy in the shadows because we haven't turned the sample size right up. We turn that quality down, and as you can see there, it's looking quite smooth. Alright, onto the materials. Now that we've got the render settings, we can make some really nice materials. So what we go is we go over here, go to create, create new material, and we're going to create one for the grungy dark letters here. So we're going to change the color, click on that, drag it into the orange there, make it a really dark, sort of a brown, about there I reckon. We can go to the specular highlights. Oh, there we are. Go down to here. We'll turn the height up, and the height up a little bit, and the width up quite a lot. You can see that creates sort of a flat look to it. I'm going to put a bit of a Fresnel on this. Oops. There you click on this here. Go Fresnel, and I'm going to change the setting here to a very light grey. So what Fresnel does is it, as you can see there, if I turn the mix strength down, it blocks out a colour based on a gradient. So the Fresnel here is getting this brown so that's the color, but when we boost that up, actually you'll see it better without the specular. Oops. There we are. It's looking good. Alright, we're going to go to basic and turn on the reflection map. Wow, way too much reflection. Never have it on 100%. It's ridiculous. It takes so much time. So turn it down to about 15%. We're going to turn the blurriness up a bit to about 10%. And that will, the only reflections we'll be seeing will be from itself, so it won't be too drastic. Go back to basic again and turn on the bump channel. Now a bump channel, actually I'm going to go displacement. Displacement channels and bump channels are very similar. Displacement are just a bit stronger, so we're going to go texture, noise, and we'll click on the noise one, and that'll take us in. We're going to change the global scale down a bit. Click this arrow to go back up to the displacement. I'm going to put the strength on maybe 11%. I'm going to change that color because I don't like it. And change it to that. Oh, yuck. Okay, now. There we are. There we are. Look at that. Alright. I'm going to go to the specular. I'm going to turn the brightness of the specular back up a bit, and I'm going to make it a little bit more glossy. So come down here, turn up the height, and turn down the width. You see it gives it a nice little specular highlight there. So if we apply that to our Motex, the original one, click render, you'll see that it's starting to look much. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty. Look at that. Alrighty. That electrical font just gets me every time. It's fantastic. Now, check this out. If I render it again, you can see all the little cracks in there. Oh, there we are. It's rendering now. Hey, there it is. Okay. Second material we've got to make is this glowing green color for the outline and for the element of life text. So how that works is we've got to use a Luminance Channel. Now, what the Luminance Channel does is it sort of it rather than accepting lights and shadowing itself, it rather emits light so that there's no shadows on it, so it looks quite flat in a way. So I'll show you how that works. So go to create, new material again, and we'll change the color to a bright green. Bright green. There we are. I'm going to turn the red all the way off there. Click OK. Oh, it's the specular color. Change that back to white. Click on color. That'd help. Turn the red down, the blue down, the green all the way up, saturation and vibrance all the way up. Okay, now you can see this line around here, that black stuff, that's the shadowing. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of that, because as you can see, if we apply it to this layer here, it doesn't look very bright. Wait a second. There we are. See, that doesn't look very bright. It's very just sort of old green paint sort of thing. Alright? So what we're going to do, so we're going to go back and click on the material, go to basic, and we're going to turn on the Luminance Channel. Okay, on the Luminance Channel, we're going to go to that green again, so we'll turn down the red, turn down the blue, make sure the saturation and vibrance are all the way up. There we are. Alright, we're going to turn down the brightness of it a little bit. It's about 70%. Alright. And if we have a look at that again, you notice all the shadows. So Control R to render again. And if we notice that it won't have much self-shadowing at all. Look at that. See, that looks a bit more bright. And when we put that in After Effects, we can put a very intense glow on that. Now, you notice I haven't done any fillet caps on that one, just to give it a bit of a different look, to separate it out from the carbon bit. Alright, so we got the cracks, the green. We'll apply this green to that one as well. And I'm actually going to bring it up a little bit, zoom out, bring that, whoops, wrong one, Control Z. Bring that green outline up a bit, see what that looks like. Now, oh, it seems to be sticking up a bit, doesn't it? Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Oh, it's just going through the floor, that's all. Alright. So we want it about there. I'm gonna increase the depth on this. I'm gonna increase it to 23. Just press enter. And I'm gonna move it up a bit. Oh, it doesn't seem to have done a whole lot. 25. Alright, try 32. There we are, that's a bit more depth. Didn't think it was doing anything for a minute there. Right. There we are. Actually, you've got to change it so it goes through the floor. Otherwise, with a little animation at the start where it comes up through the floor, that's not going to work. There we are. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got this. We've got our outline. Oh, the floor. Now, the floor texture, I just went to Google Images and I searched carbon fiber. And we go to search tools, size larger than 2 megapixels, and it comes up with this really nice square one, 2048 pixels by 2048 pixels. That's a really good size because it's square, and because of the pattern it should duplicate itself, although we don't want to do that really. So click on that one, save the image. I've already got it downloaded, so I'm just going to go create a new material, go to the color channel, go texture, load image, and where was that? Cinema 4D, carbon fiber background. Actually, it wasn't that one. Oh well, doesn't matter. Find your own carbon fiber background, or whatever else you want. You could make it wood. Wood's pretty cool. No, we don't want to copy it because we've already got it somewhere else. And we'll apply that material. Oh no, wait. I'm going to go to the specular. Going to turn the glossiness up. So to get glossiness, I'm going to pull this up because then you can see what it actually does. When you turn up the height, it makes this very bright, but when you make the width skinny, it makes it look very glossy. It reduces the radius of that little thing. So we want to make it really glossy because it's carbon fiber. If you've ever seen carbon fiber, it is quite glossy. We're going to go to the basic and turn on a different channel. We're going to turn on the where is it? The displacement channel, and we're going to use the same picture, the same carbon fiber picture, to create a displacement map to make little bumps on it. So we're going to turn it right down to about 16-18%, something like that. And if we apply that to the floor, that material, click render, we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so what it's done is it's made it all into little squares, so we've got to blow it up. So let's see, that looks really dodgy. What you have to do is you have to go to the floor, click on this little material tag here, and you can increase these things. It increases, see, look over here now, these things When I drag that up, that's increasing massively. We can move this one, moves it over so we can see the width of it. I want it to be really big, about just 2000%. Go this one, 2000%. There we are. We can start to see the carbon fiber pattern coming in there. Then hit render again. Have a look. What does that look like? Alright, starting to come together. Now, it's very bright. I'm going to turn down the brightness of one of the lights. Okay, so you can see this line here. I'm not sure if that's a shadow or if it's starting a new... Yes, that's dodgy. Alright. So, that has to go up a lot. That has to go right a lot. And press render again, and we'll see what that looked like. So what it's doing is it's just moving that picture around on the plane, so that our little view there only sees one instance of it, because it's tiling it across the whole floor, because you must remember the floor tiles itself to infinity on the horizon. Alright, now I'm just going to change this. I'll try and get that original camera angle that I had. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, first go to the light, bring down the intensity of that one, because it's looking quite bright, and we really want that dark, ominous feel with just the green coming through there. Alright, so you can see around here the green light is being reflected onto the carbon fiber by the global illumination, and that's what we want. It gives it a sort of an atmosphere before we even get it into After Effects, so that's really good. I'm really happy with this material, actually. I think it's even better than the original one. So okay, so that's looking good. Muck around with your colors. You can change the color of the green. You can change it to whatever you want. The words, obviously, do whatever you want. I know if this is like one of your first tutorials, it's really good to just follow along perfectly with everything that I do. But if you're a bit more advanced, muck around with it. It's good fun. Play with the ambient occlusion so you can see the shadows all in here. Alright. Looking good. Okay, so now we're going to create a camera, because we've got all these things. Then we've got to animate all this. So, go to this little camera icon up the top here. Whoops. Hold on that, and we'll just choose a normal camera. And we're gonna actually click this little thing here. That shows that when you click on that, you're in the camera view. So when you move the view, you're actually moving the camera. I'm gonna switch to the 1, 2, and 3 navigation for this one, because it works so much better. Right, move down. We have this sort of angle going on. I'm gonna leave it on that bit of a rotation, because I liked that much better than I liked the original angle. So I'm gonna move down both of these. I'm going to move down this one. See, I've got a little arrow there. Move it down below the floor. So when we render that, the floor will cover it. So as you can see, there we are. Alright, see, the floor covers the green stuff. That's exactly what we want. You can see this carbon fiber. It's looking really nice, and this cracking. Oh, love it. Alright. Grab this other second green one here. I'm going to move over. I'm going to move that out, because what I did is I animated that come in the side. So I'll show you that in a second. But we've got this. I've changed my mind. What we're going to do is we're going to animate all the text, and then we're going to animate the camera. So we're going to grab this one here. Now, if you don't know about keyframing, a keyframe is exactly what it is. It's a frame that is key. So you set a keyframe, and that has a value. So I'm going to click this button here. This sets a keyframe. It's got a little key on it, not hard to remember. And I'm going to move this text down below the floor. Alright? Now, I'm going to click it again. Okay, so that is set at this frame here, this little thing down here, this little tab, has said that at this point in time, on this frame, frame 0, this has this position. This text will be below the floor. Alright, so we're going to move it forward about 20 frames, and we're going to move this up. Now what a keyframe does is it takes this data, and when we set another keyframe there, it interpolates, which means it works out all the little bits of data in between. So it works out at frame 10, this is the position I have to be in, so that when we get to frame 20, we'll be where it says I should be. Okay, so we just press play, and that rises up through the floor like that. Very cool. Right, now, how that works is that, what we do now is when that comes up, actually I'm going to change the length of this to 200 frames, so 25 frames a second, that will be 10 seconds. No, 8 seconds. Oh dear, I've been out of school for too long. Only a few weeks, but it's way too long. Alright. So we're going to grab this next one, is we get this to fly in. So we animate the position of this as well by using keyframes. And alright, so what's going to happen is this is going to come up, the camera's going to fly along. Alright, so we'll time it. We'll go, the camera's going to fly along the thing, so click play, time it comes up, the camera flies along, zoom out, and by about frame 90, this text should fly into here. So what we're going to do, so there's a few different things in the text settings down here. This horizontal spacing business is pretty cool. That can give it an extra look of speed. So what we're going to do, these little things on the side here, these are also how you keyframe these values. So you can keyframe pretty much anything in Cinema 4D. It's really cool. So what we're going to do is at frame 75, I reckon. We're going to set a keyframe for the position. So we click on that. That sets a keyframe for the position, the scale, and the rotation. We're only going to change the position. We're going to increase the horizontal spacing quite a lot. We're going to hold control and click on this little dot here, and see how it's turned red? That means it's going to take a keyframe for that value as well. We're going to go out to frame 95, 96, something like that. We're going to move this position over to about there. We're going to press the keyframe button and look at this. We move between the two and it does that in that time. Now the problem is it hasn't set a keyframe for this horizontal spacing, so we're going to decrease that back to normal, or what looks normal anyway. We're going to control click on that again, and that will set a keyframe. Alright, so we've got this little animation here. So we press play, it does that, the camera comes around, that falls in, but another thing, that position needs to be moved over. So you've got to hover, you've got to be directly over the keyframe in the timeline there. Move it over to where you want it, about there, should be good, and click on this again, and that'll just change the keyframe of the position. Alrighty, that's that. And just play it through to get a feel for where you want the green outline to come up. So, and now we want it at about a frame 140. We want this green outline to be moving up. So we're going to set a keyframe for the position at frame 140, and all the way to frame 180. We don't want it to be very fast, so we're going to bring that up to about there, and set a keyframe for the position again, and look at that, we have a nice slow increasing of this green outline, the green glow. Reminds me of the Hulk, this thing. Actually, that's the thing, you could do it for the Hulk. Hulk in that font would look would look really cool. Alright, I'm going to render that, give it a test render, see what that looks like. Oh, look at this. Coming along fantastically. So that's pretty much ready to render. Now, if you've never done rendering in Cinema 4D before, it's not very hard, but there are some traps that beginners can fall into. Not saying I'm a professional, but I'm a bit past beginner. So I feel like I can call you that. Haha. Alright, we're going to go into the settings here. Oh no, I haven't done the camera yet. Camera. Create the... Oh, I've already got the camera. Already in the camera. Okay. We're going to come down here. Set the position of the camera up. So at the start, this is the position of the camera. Now, I'm going to click this button here. This button here is auto keyframing. Now, auto keyframing is very dangerous. You've got to make sure you're completely focused on what you're about to do, because you don't want to change anything except exactly what you want to change, because if you change anything else, you'll get random things that are starting to move because they've set keyframes by themselves. So as soon as you click this, you only want to animate the camera, nothing else. If anything else moves, press Ctrl Z straight away. So we're going to press auto keyframing, and look at this. This is going to come up, and so where did that come in? It came in about frame 80, didn't it? So about frame 70, we want to move this up. We want to scroll along. Oh, I've got to zoom back in because it's on an angle. Alrighty. That there. Okay. So if we check this out, look at this. We've got a nice little... It's coming through the floor. And from here, about frame 90, we want to be completely zoomed out. So we're going to hold 3, rotate it, hold 2, zoom out. You know, just get the camera angle right. You should know how to navigate by now, so how's that looking? Alright, so you can drag this, see it's automatically set the keyframes. So we got this. Boom. Ah, look at that. Beautiful timing. This stuff here. You don't have to see the whole animation, you just see the last half of it, and it just gives you this feel that something else has been going on. And there you have it, a really nice, sort of a smooth. With the physical renderer, you notice we turn motion blur on, but if we hit render, you won't see any motion blur when you render it in here. To see the motion blur, you've got to actually have it rendered in the picture viewer. So we're going to unclick save. Just click on this one here, or Shift R. Shift R will render it in the picture viewer, which renders everything: motion blur, depth of field, blueness, and better reflections, and all that. So we can see how that's going to look with the motion blur. Now, it's looking good. Looking good. We'll turn up the settings on the motion blur to make it a bit more smooth in the physical renderer when we're about ready. But it looks a bit wonky there. It's because the camera's moving, not because the animation's wonky. So don't worry too much about that. Alright, I'm just going to cancel that. You can watch the whole thing if you want. So we've got this. We've got the whole camera move thing going on. That's our whole... And our green comes up after a second. You have sound effects. The green comes through. And you end on frame 200 with a bit of a fade. 8 seconds. I'm still doing bad maths. So I'm going to save this because... yeah, Carbon Life 2.0 tutorial. Whoa, what have I got in there? Tutorial. Awesome. So that's saved. Make sure you always save it. I would suggest saving it as soon as you finish the floor, then save it as soon as you finish the text, save it as soon as you finish the lights, save it as soon as you finish the materials, and save it as soon as you finish the camera. and maybe 100 times in between. There is no excuse for losing work. It's your own fault for not saving it. So don't ever want to get caught by that. It is not fun. Now you want to turn off. Oh, see, I've got keyframing on, and I've just done that. All right, so there we are. Okay, so at frame 100, we've still got another 4 seconds to go, but nothing really happens. So there we are. So it can get a bit boring. Change the timing if you need to. I'm just going to save again. We're going to go into the render settings now and check the output. We're going to go change it from current frame to all frames, 0 to 200. We've got the render resolution already. We're going to click yes to save. We're going to choose to save it in Carbon Life. Change this to Shoot, and we're going to save this as Shoot Render. Okay, save. Now, what I was going to tell you before about rendering is that you'd be very tempted to render it out as a video. Yeah, we're rendering animation. You might want to render it as an AVI, QuickTime movie, anything like that. Do not, because if your computer crashes, you may be halfway through a video, 4 hours of rendering, and it all just disappears, corrupted. So what you want to do is you want to do a Tiff sequence is what I like to do. You can do a Tiff sequence, a Targa sequence, a JPEG sequence if you're really into that. So I'm just going to do a Tiff sequence. Photoshop layers imports into After Effects beautifully. So we're going to leave it on 8-bit channel, Tiff PSD layer, and leave this setting how it is. Don't have to worry about compositing, don't have to worry about any of these settings. Just make sure you're saving it. We're going to turn on in the physical renderer, the motion blur subdivisions, change that to 6, and this one up to 3. The motion subdivisions are for the motion blur, will make that look better. Deformation subdivisions are for the carbon fiber, how we use the deformer, and for this material, how we did a bit of a bump map or displacement, whatever it was, with the noise. And ambient occlusion, turn the contrast up a bit to about, I don't know, 8%. We're gonna change the global illumination settings, put them back up to medium, medium, low, and medium. And we should be all ready to render. So I'm just going to do a test render in this frame here, just to see what the anti-aliasing. Oh no, it's all good. Don't worry. So all these increased render settings will increase your render time, but it will look amazing. Yeah, and it also takes a while. Alright, that is looking very, very nice. We're on a frame 163, so the green hasn't really come through at all yet. Alright, so what you do now is, I'm just going to stop that render. Click on the picture viewer. That will render your whole thing out and save it just like you've set in your settings. So you click on that and that will start saving it. Alright, this is going to render 200 frames, and then you can come back and watch the rest of the tutorial. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to go yes. I'm going to use my old render, exactly the same almost. So I'm going to save this, get out of it. Alright, so you've finished your rendering. You've got your files, you've got your Targa sequence, whatever it is, Tiff sequence, that's right. We're going to start up After Effects. And we'll get on with some post-production. This is turning out to be a long tutorial, much longer than I thought it would be. Okie dokie. Now, of course, you don't have to do any post in After Effects. You can just leave it how you want out of Cinema 4D. You can use the glow effect in Cinema 4D if you want, but After Effects is much better. So we'll click on the Project tab here, right click, go Import File, and we're going to go to find your render. I'm going to use the old one I did, 720p. Make sure this is ticked. Import as a Tiff Sequence, import as footage, and click Open. Alright, so that's brought the whole thing in. So we're going to drag that into a new composition, and look, actually delete that composition. Alt click on this, change it to 32 bits per channel. Now drag it into a new composition. Just makes the glow effects and everything much nicer. Okay, so as you can see, this is what my original render looks like. Comes up, oops, come on, get to the end, and there goes. Oh, where's the green thing? Where is it? There it is. Alright. Only on half resolution here because it's taking a bit of power to use these 720p frames, even though After Effects isn't even doing anything to them yet. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on this one here. We're going to go to the effects controls. We're going to go Effect, Color Correction, Curves. There we are. We're just going to make a little bit of a contrast curve here. Makes it a bit darker, a bit more ominous. Go to the red channel. Boost this red color. I think I must have made my light red in the first one, but that's what I did. Boost that red one, like so. You can change your little light to red if you want. I don't really mind. You can do whatever you want. It's your tutorial. Well, my tutorial, your render. Doing this for you guys. It's all for you. Alright. So we've got this little bit of a curves. Oh wow, way too much red. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's what she said. Blue. Boost that. Cut that. Now I am going to drop that red because that is miles too much red. A lot of red. Hey, that looks cool. So just play around with it, really. That's what color correction is, isn't it? Just playing around till you get it. You can have a nice blue steel sort of a look. Bit warmer there. Don't try to make it look too warm because it ruins the ominous feeling. Alright, next one. We've finished the curves there. Turn that up. Look at that. Some nice curves there. Effect, stylize, glow is the next one. So you're going to turn the threshold down a bit, and look at that, we've got a bit of glow happening there already. So just get it right till it looks like it's not going to cause too much trouble. There we are. Turn down the intensity a bit. There we are. Turn up the radius. No. There we are. So the intensity there is on 0.1. Glow radius is on about 100, and the glow threshold is on about 57. So if you turn it right down, it glows everything. So you want it on about 57. 55 I'm going to go. Give it a bit more life. And if you turn that off and on, you can see the difference in the glow there. Really gives it a bit of life. And with that green in there, giving it a bit of glow. Now, this green stuff here needs a bit more intensity. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this layer down here, Control D to duplicate it. We're going to delete the glow. So we've got the same color correction. Solo this layer by clicking this little thing here, and that's what it looks like. That curves. Alright, so we're going to go keying Lunar Key. Now what this does is it cuts out all the dark stuff and leaves really bright stuff. So we're going to cut that right back. Just increase this threshold until you've just got the green highlights, maybe some of the little bits on the carbon fiber there. That might look nice if it's glowing a bit. And we're going to feather a bit, make it a bit soft. And look at that, we've got all the green, really bright stuff coming out, and that's what we want. And so we're going to now go to blur and sharpen, Gaussian blur, and we're going to blur that out. And now watch this, if we change the transfer mode down here, if you can't see it, just hit F4, mode, add. Now if we turn it off solo, it's added a real intensity to the glow there, but it's also ruining this glow here. That looked fine before, and it's just a bit over the top, but this carbon bit actually needs it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the pen tool, make sure this layer is selected, take the pen tool and just draw a bit of a mask around, and click to close it around there. Now hit M, letter M on your keyboard, and that will bring up the mask properties, and we're going to invert that, and you can see it's changing it. So if we solo that, that's what it's doing, it's getting rid of that element of life bit. If we undo that, we can really see, if we duplicate that again, you can see the intensity. Look at that, that's crazy. That's intense. That's camping. Get it? Intense. No, that's a really bad joke. Sorry. I'll maybe do it twice, and maybe even hit T to get the opacity down here. You can turn down the opacity on that one. Turn up maybe only on maybe 50%. So it's 1.5 times the glow. Go back to this original one here. Go the glow effect on that. I'm actually gonna increase the glow on it because it's just not, there's not enough in the element of life bit there. Maybe 0.2 intensity. Turn the glow down to about 75. There we are. And the threshold down a bit, so it's just a bit more intense. So maybe 52 threshold, 52%. Alright, I'm thinking that, oh, look at that. Yuck. What's that doing? That, go back to this tool here, or you can hit V to get back from the pen tool. Hit V, goes back to that. I don't know what this is doing, but it's, just have a look at that. See, it's got a bit of a glow on it. See, the threshold of the glow is too much. It's, I don't know, it's starting to grow on me though. What do you reckon? If you want to get rid of that, which I'm assuming most people will want to get rid of that. Yeah. Yep. See if we have a look at that. Yep, alright. To get rid of that, we're going to keyframe the threshold on this. So we're going to click on the little stopwatch here, and that's going to set this 52% right here. But we want it up, so we're going to set that at about 90. And until this green stuff comes in, oh, it's not that. It's not that. It's the duplicated thingy here. See, look. Ah. It's the threshold on this. Okay, so if we decrease the threshold on that, there we are. If we solo that, that's better. That's better. Alright, so all you have to do is decrease the threshold to 68. Or increase actually, 68. And then it won't do your funny little glow thing. It'll do it on the edges there because of the lights. But I reckon that looks pretty good. and the green. Whoa, look at that. If you turn off these, you can really see the difference. You can't tell, but then when you turn it off, it's incredible. Okay, that's that. Now we're going to create a little bit of a vignette, because motion graphics, I just think vignettes in motion graphics are awesome. Of course, not always necessary, overly used. So we grab the pen tool again, just click, make a little bit of a, click and drag, make a little bit of a rough vignette. We don't really want anything fancy, because that just makes it look all, it just looks make very clean. So now we click M, so that, and invert the mask, and click F, press F, sorry, click, what am I saying? Press F on your keyboard, brings up the feather for the mask. So we can feather that mask out. And now if we turn off this, look at this. This is the difference between a vignette and not a vignette. More ominous, just ominicity. I don't know if that's a word, ominicity, but that's what I'm going for, the ominicity. And look at that, it really works. Maybe turn the opacity of it, so you can click on the layer, press T, turn down the opacity from 100%, maybe that much. And here we go. I'm just going to put it on 3rd res. Press 0 for a RAM preview, and that will play it back. And check that out. We have motion blur, we have curves, we have glow. We've got pretty much everything. It's incredible, really. There we are, the glow. Alrighty. That is pretty much the whole tutorial. There's render settings for this that I can set up, that I can show you. We go composition. When you're done, you go composition, add to render queue. Click on the best settings here. You want it on best, full resolution. You don't really have to change much. If you end up putting audio in it, you want to click on this one here. You definitely want to make sure you got that. You want to click audio output if you've put sound effects in. Change that to 44.1 kilohertz, and that should all be fine. And output 2. This one you can output it as an AVI. It's not very slow. So name it whatever you want, render it out. But be warned, the files are huge that After Effects puts out. Absolutely enormous, like nearly a gig for 10 seconds of footage. It's incredible. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you've got a video encoder or converter, whatever you want to call it, so you can convert that. Even if you convert it to the same format, same resolution, everything, it will reduce the size significantly. It's just something to do with After Effects. So there you have it. You have an incredible tutorial, I suppose, on how to create this glow carbon effect. I'm Simon Glover of Digital June Design, and hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Leave some comments below, ask questions, whatever. If you don't have After Effects, give me a buzz. I can show you how to do the glow effect in Cinema 4D. You're not going to get this really bright stuff on the green, but you can get that glow effect. Alrighty, thanks for watching.